We are 2 weeks away, and you thought that your kids were the only ones going back to school. No, no, no. Tonight on the DFS Daily, we're all going back to school. DFS School. Terms, tricks, and tips on tonight's episode of the DFS Daily. We are open. Come on into the shop, baby. Let's get it rolling. Welcome in to the DFS Deli. I am the proprietor of this delicatessen, Saleh Ali Shahid, and it is the most important show of the year. We are talking tips, tricks, and terms to get you to become a successful DFS player. And, I just thought about something today, actually, that amongst me and that guy right there, that Mr. Taco guy, Bakerlicious Taco, and my man Chili, between all of us in our collective DFS careers, we have won over $100,000 of winnings. Do you guys realize that? Like we are pretty good at what we do. Like I would just pat ourselves on the back a little bit. I mean, just a little bit, Dale, you're in class.
Yeah.
Specifically to become as successful as we have in these DFS streets. Yes, the notepad and the pen are out. Again, my kids started school this week. Dale, like you mentioned earlier, you're going to have a preschooler here soon. My other two co-hosts, they don't have children yet, but they get the feel of what it is to learn. And y'all, well, Chili, you work from home. You don't get that back to school traffic, but I'm feeling the effects of everybody going back to school right now. So,
Man,
it ain't fun, bro.
No, it's really not. I mean,
really
I live right across the street from two schools, and let me tell you, if I don't get my kids out of like bed and dressed and out the freaking front door by like 5:59, yo, we're a half an hour late. It's absolutely absurd.
I roll two school zones on my way to work, and it's not fun. Two school
really
zones
isn't.
and a train tracks. Oh yeah.
It really isn't. I'm happy for everybody getting back to school or whatnot, but I tell you, man, it's a pain in the rear end. There's no doubt about that. But Chili, nothing changes for you, so you don't feel that.
No.
The dog got in his way on the way to the bathroom this morning.
No. Even on the because I go in once a week, so I go in on Fridays, and even on Fridays, I'm not really in an area to where I have to deal with the schools. So
fair. Well, like I said, man, if you ever have kids one day, you'll get the struggles and the trials and tribulations of getting back to school. But for us as DFS players, we sometimes need to go back to school. We need to be re-educated on how to be successful in DFS, because I've seen it in drafts, I've seen it in best ball, I've seen it in yearly, leading up to the start of the DFS season, which starts in 2 weeks. Unless you're a preseason grinder, then you're just a degenerate.
Crazy. You're just crazy.
A degenerate.
Lord Jesus, trying to play the preseason.
Yeah, seriously. Yo, is that Thunder? Who is that?
that was me.
Yo, are you okay?
Damn.
You gotta take it up with God. I got nothing for you.
Yo, if Chili blacks out is because you got a light in the house.
Yeah, we understand why if Joe just disappears.
Yeah, so we'll go. Oh, I think I got some over my place too, but that's okay. We're gonna work through it. So, but yeah, tonight it's tips, tricks, terms. We got to break down this stuff because I'm still seeing a lot of rookie mistakes, and I want our listeners to avoid all of those rookie mistakes and be successful at participating in DFS, because this is your hard-earned American dollars that you're putting on the line to be a winner in DFS. So we need to break it down. We need to go over some of the strategies that we use to win. And we don't want you to be, we don't want you to be out there in these DFS streets losing, getting frustrated, dropping out after week 2 or 3, because we all know week 1 is probably the most highly trafficked week in DFS. So we don't want you to be as the Aztecs call it, a fish in these streets. We want you to be a shark. You know, Chill is a shark. I'm a shark. Baker's a shark. Dale is
he's getting there. He's getting there.
He's getting there. That's right. He's getting there. So
he's a tuna.
A tuna. So intros before we get into the nitty gritty. Baker, how you feeling tonight? Nice cam. Nice to see you.
I mean, I figured I would let you see my face, even though you're gonna be stuck with my face all weekend. Are
we sponsored by Stella? I'm confused.
I
just want to let people know that I'm not sponsored, but I could be.
But we could be.
But I could be. Hint, wink, wink. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think the owners of Stella Artois is watching this right now?
You never know.
Fair point.
If somebody could get this to them, that'd be great.
But I'm good. Walked out of work today as we're about to go on our vacation for our first season long draft.
Yes.
Walked out of work today. Got to hit that automatic response saying "fuck you." Don't talk to me. I'll be back in a week. I had a regional VP in the building that wanted to talk to me. I literally told her, I'm like, I leave here in 10 minutes. There's no point in you talking to me.
Wow. Like that.
She just looked at me. She's like, what do you mean you're leaving? I'm like, I'm going on vacation. You'll be gone by the time I get back. Like, we really don't have much to talk about. As far as I know,
you gotta like that. I mean, that's what's up.
As far as I know, I still have a job too, so that there's that too. So,
is it still a sore subject? Are we allowed to talk about that yet?
Talk about what?
Not having a job.
Oh, because him.
You might be pointing to me. You might not be pointing to me. It's fine. On
my screen. On my screen, it's.
Well, I mean, we're not pointing to the guy who works for the government, and
because
you're the only other person.
That would be that guy. I feel like we're the Brady Bunch. The way this is set up on my screen, this looks like the Brady Bunch to me. Just saying.
No cap. I've never watched an episode of the Brady Bunch in my life.
The f is wrong with you?
What's not a Brady Bunch guy?
What are you gonna tell me? You haven't watched Golden Girls next?
Okay, first of all, you've gone too far.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I'm about that Golden Girls life. Okay.
That's what's
stop
up.
that.
Okay.
And then there's Maud.
we might be fighting down in Gatlinburg if you told me you ain't never seen Golden Girls on me. I might trap you in a room and be like, "Here's Golden Girls, watch it."
I'm representing where we're going. Headed down to not Nashville, but we're heading down to Gatlinburg. I got some Tennessee rocking. Dale, you have you need to
let me talk to you.
Let me talk to you. How do you get that to go away? Oh,
just hit the. There you go. Goodness,
I didn't even touch it. It did it itself. Anyways, I've never seen an episode of Golden Girls.
Dale, I don't expect you to see anything in life, considering the fact, what was it, last year you saw Home Alone for the first time?
2 years ago. It was 2 years
ago. You saw Home Alone for the first time.
Hey, yo, what?
Facts.
Oh, so
zero.
Until 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Like, that's ridiculous, Dale.
That's bad.
Like, they were throwing out quotes when we were playing Warzone, and I had no idea what they were talking about.
Oh, he was lost.
They were like, "What a hole," and I'm like, I don't even know what that means.
Wow. What a hole.
Yeah, he's thinking we're making like sexual remarks or something. Like, no.
Don't worry. I'll get him.
Okay, well, listen, Zach, if you're listening, which I know you are, I think there's a spot right here for you next week because
right there.
Someone who didn't see Home Alone 2 years ago that's hurtful, bro. That's so hurtful. Chili, what's up, man?
Wasn't it the fact you hadn't seen Die Hard either?
No. I've seen Die Hard.
Okay.
I've never seen Home Alone. Crazy.
There was another movie that I didn't see that you guys were really getting into me about, and I can't remember.
Have you seen Jingle All the Way? Now we're talking about Christmas classics.
That is the best Christmas movie ever.
Put
that cookie down.
1,000% the best Christmas movie ever.
That's a fact.
I mean, that's irrefutable.
Hold on. We're all in agreement on this?
Irrefutable. Yeah. Jingle All the Way is the greatest Christmas movie of all time.
He socks a reindeer. he just decks him right in the dome, man.
I mean, it's very rare that the deli all agrees on something. The fact that we all agree that Jingle All the Way is the greatest Christmas movie, that says something.
I know we're early for all that discussion, but yes, absolutely. It's
S tier movie.
Oh God.
S-tier.
Oh God, yes, S tier.
I mean, it's almost Christmas in August. I know it's a July thing, but it's the 23rd.
Hey, listen, week 1 is Christmas for me.
Absolutely.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, we're actually right on track.
My huge win came on Christmas Eve, so it's always Christmas for me.
That's true.
My first huge win was it right before Christmas? Because we were wishing ourselves an Amari Christmas.
Yes, we were.
Wouldn't be relevant if it wasn't near Christmas time. So
facts, big facts.
I think it was December.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yep, absolutely. So yeah, man, that was the first of several, and we're looking to continue that success. Like I said, I haven't got the 50K one, but there's been some 10s, some 75s, some 12s. You know what I'm saying?
Do you know somebody who has a 50K win?
Yeah, Gardner Minshew. Yeah, we know.
Yeah.
Now he knows he's on camera. He's a little bit fucking grin that big. It's great. I love it. Chill, you feeling all right today, man?
I'm feeling good, man. I was getting ready to shoot some terms, equip everybody, with the tools here to perform well. Help our buddy Dale up there, who in this scenario would be like the consumer. This is our audience. So it'd be people like Dale.
Yeah, so, who's into DFS, but not hyper focused on building rosters.
I mean, and let's be real, Dale's going to be out here playing the hardest tournaments out of all of us because, Dale's in the $1, $5 tournaments. Those are the hardest ones.
My max I put in is like a $5 tournament, or maybe I'll go to a $10 tournament. That's it.
Those are the hard. Those are hard, Dale.
Oh, I know they are
extremely hard.
I know. I've won.
Those are extremely hard.
I want to say I won $1,500 on a basketball one once. That's it. I've never won anything big, like more than $100.
All right, Sully.
Yo.
For our first topic, can we talk about tournament selections? Please.
Absolutely. So I'm actually going to start with a term, and we're going to kick it over to Chill to define that term and distinguish between the different types of these particular contests. So the first term that everyone needs to establish what it is the term GPP. Chili, can you define those 3 golden letters in the DFS space? GPP.
I mean, legitimately, I don't remember what quite GPP means. I just know it means it's your large field tournaments. These are non-cash tournaments, and I'm sure we'll address that, even though there's not a cash player on the on the deli right now. But we all know
game player.
Baker plays cash.
Yeah.
Baker, you play cash?
Not even a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, he does. He's a liar. He's a liar. He plays cash.
I thought it was only our former employee who was playing cash. But no, GPP, that's your mass entry, right? Those are your large field tournaments. These are the tournaments that are going to have multi-entry. These are going to have, you can enter in, 100 lineups, 300 lineups, 20 lineups, things like that. These are your tournaments that more or less are going to be a little more random. This is where, you're going to have to play some of the, and we'll get to this term later, some of the chalk and not some of the chalk, but in terms of GPP, these are your large field tournaments.
Actually, let me cut you off because that's actually not all the way true. So GPP stands for Guaranteed Prize Pool, and that is the prize pool that is going to be paid out from the site regardless if the tournament fills or not, okay? So you see, for example, there's the Millie Maker, right? So up top, someone is guaranteed to win $1 million. Now, if there's 300,000 entrants, 400,000 entrants, which is what's considered a large field GPP, if only 200,000 of those 400,000 slots fill, DraftKings, FanDuel, Yahoo, they still have to pay out those prizes up top because those prizes are guaranteed, even though the tournament doesn't fill. Now, if the tournament doesn't fill, that's what we in the business call overlay. So if there's overlay in these tournaments, that means that there's less people that are in said tournament that you have to beat. So, for example, for argument's sake, it's a 100-man tournament. That's a guaranteed prize pool. Again, this is going to be if 90 people get into that tournament, that's 10 empty spots that site actually has to pay for. And then those prizes up top are still guaranteed. So it can be single entry. It could be 5 entry max. It could be 10 entry max. It could be 20 entry max. It could be 150. Those 150 ones are going to be your millionaire maker tournaments. Like those are the big 100,000, 200, 300,000 people tournaments that we on the deli stay the hell away from.
I play the millionaire maker.
Well, you just like to take shots. You don't max enter the Millie Maker. Now, do you? So, Baker, while I'm on the topic, define max entry.
Well, when there's a certain amount of lineups that you can make for a tournament, if you maximize the amount of entries, you have now max entered. You and I, we play a lot of single entries. That means we get one bullet in this here tournament. You have 3 entry max. That means you get this many entries. 5, 15, 150, whatever that number is, that is the maximum number that you are allowed to enter into this particular tournament with whatever lineups you decide to put together.
Absolutely correct. Now, with that being said, that is going to decrease your variance. That's why we encourage people to do single entry, 3 entry max, 5 entry max, because if you can't max enter it, my train of thought is if you can't max enter it, don't enter the tournament. So again, going back to Dale's point, or what we were talking about with him, is that you're going against guys that are computer generating 150 lineups for the most part. They're not hand building 150 lineups.
No hand building heroes there.
Yeah,
I've done that before. It's not fun.
Yeah, you're hand building your 1 or 2 lineups because you're a low stakes player. And that's perfectly fine. But the odds of winning in those particular tournaments are significantly reduced when you can't max enter the tournament. Now, there are cool tournaments that you can enter where you can learn how to max entry, because they do have the nickel arcade, I do believe, the dime package, where you can literally spend $30 and put 150 lineups out and just learn how to generate lineups from that. Again, there's like $400 or $500 up top for a couple dimes. It's not bad. And it also gets you acclimated with using a lineup generator. It gets you acclimated with, your player exposures, how much of this player you're using, how much of that player you're using, stacks, bringbacks, all that stuff. But again, if you're a hand builder, like pretty much all of us are, then I would stick to, if you have $5, if you got $10, I would find a single entry tournament that everybody's on the same playing field with you. Okay? So you get one shot. Everyone else gets one shot. You're not throwing $20 in the Millie Maker when everybody's computer generating 150. So again, decrease your variance, find those single entries if that's what you want to spend. If you want to max enter contest, lower the amount. So forget the $1, forget the $5, forget the $15. Go into the dime package. Go into that nickel arcade. Do it up, especially if you want to use a generator this year. So that would be my advice when it comes to tournament selection. Now, having said that, Baker, you and I, Chili, you're the same. We like to enter the higher dollar ones because they have less entrants. It's less people to beat. And it turns out that at the higher dollar amount, they're not as sharp. Actually, I've seen some dog crap lineups in the $100, in the $200, like $50, $75 single entries, where I'm just like, y'all are just playing just to watch football, and you just happen to have $50 to $100 to burn. Like, these lineups are constructed in all these weird ways. I mean, it's just baffling that people can spend X amount of money doing this. So, I mean, again, Chili, why do you prefer single entry versus, and at higher stakes, I should say, versus the smaller stakes?
I mean, single entry at higher stakes, like you said, especially like it is easier. Most of my bigger wins have come off of $100 entry or $125 or $150 entry, more than a 50 or a 75 or things like that. So, I mean, yeah, I understand. Like, you still have to have the correct lineup, and that helps. But you don't have to have the nuts to win those tournaments, right? Like in the Million Maker, you need the perfect lineup, or you need to be off by one. Like, and it has to be like a small one, right? So, I choose to stay in those, and like, you know, in those higher dollar ones, no offense, you just got a lot of rich people who just kind of burn away money, like you said. They're just in there, just they don't care if they lose $100, and they're not grinding. So,
we grind.
Yeah, we're grinding,
we
man.
grind.
So, no, those are traditionally, those are easier. I think the biggest contest I traditionally get into for now, maybe the most is 2,000 people. Maybe that's the most. And like in retrospect, 2,000 is not even a lot. It sounds like a lot, but it's not a lot.
It's very small, very small.
So that's where I'm at right now. And I think those are easier to win. For me personally, like again, some people may have success elsewhere, but I think for now those are easier to win.
Baker, how's your experience been with smaller field versus larger field tournaments?
Well, Sully, I know this is going to take us back a few years, but I used to play a larger field tournament or a larger dollar amount tournament, but that was still a large field. I forget what the name of the tournament is because my brain's not in football mode 100% yet.
But you got 2 weeks, man. You better flip the switch, dog.
I said it's not there 100%. It's getting there.
All right,
but do you remember when I used to play the 333?
Yes.
Whatever the hell.
Wildcat. Yeah, I know what you're talking.
The Wildcat.
Yeah. That's the Wildcat. The 323.
Wildcat.
Yes. Where that is a larger field, that is still somewhat of a larger field with a higher dollar amount with multiple entries. Like I think the max entry into that is 20. I feel like 20 sounds about right in my brain.
Could be close. It's mute regardless, but yeah, it's like 10 and 20, something like that.
So it's like I'm entering a higher dollar amount. It's like, all right, cool. Well, I'm still running up against people who are max entering this.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Whereas obviously my big win last year, though that was a $200 single entry, still one bullet.
The Wildcats multi-entry is 75.
Okay.
Damn.
Sheesh.
And that
333 75 times?
And that's 2,500 people. Or that's
small. That's small field. But to get 75 of those entries though, that's
still a lot of entries.
That's still a lot of entries, yeah.
First place is 150K.
And I think that's what would always have me at that point in time interested to play it, is because I'm like, oh, it's 150K. I'll enter that 333 with my one bullet going up against computer generators.
Yeah, that have 75 entries.
Exactly.
You're going up against Chipotle Addict?
Chipotle Addict.
Not even the fact that I'm going up against computer generators. I'm going against people with a bigger bankroll than I do.
Absolutely. And they get to embrace variance more than you do.
Yeah, because in that entry, I used to be so cautious. Like, I'm playing things that I'm like, oh, no, I can't play this crazy person because this is a $300 entry. I'm not going to do that. Well, I kind of come off of that. Case in point, Gardner Minshew.
We've all been there. Okay, so we've selected the right tournaments. Dale, any questions, sir? Any questions of what we've covered so far?
Well, no, I like even in the ones I do play, like the $5 and the $10 ones and stuff like that, I still do like to stick to, like you guys said, the single entries for that reason. You'll sit there and just mess around and drop in a tournament, and then all of a sudden you look at the standings at the end, and it's like you got this dude with a random ass profile picture, and he's got like 25 straight lineups winning the same dollar amount, and it's the same fucking team. And I'm like, what?
That is defined as a train.
Come and ride the train.
So a train is, you'll find it more often in double ups, triple ups, stuff like that are multi-entries, where a guy will put in one lineup and put it in 25 times. When they hit, they hit. If they don't, then all their lineups are out. But the problem with running into trains is that's why I don't advocate doing anything that's more than single entry, or if you can't max enter it, is that if that one train gets like a catch for 10 yards and puts that 1.5 PPR points or 2 points, that's 25 lineups soaring past yours. So that means where you were at the cut line after that one catch, there's 25 lineups going, see ya. And don't let it be duped. That means there's 50, 75, 100 lineups. See ya. They're going up top. So again, single entry, 3 max, 5 max. If you can't max enter it, don't enter it. That's what we're trying to kind of get out of it, you know? Baker, you got something to say?
Well, on the same line as, you know, your tournament selection, I think I'm not sure if you were about to go this route. I feel like this is a perfect segue. Bankroll.
Understand? Seg away.
I see what you did there. I feel like understanding what your bankroll is and, you know, where that line is as far as, you know, you're entering $5 and $10 single entries. Well, you're doing that every single week. You're winning, you're not winning, so on and so forth. If we're going to go up to a higher level, how long can you stay at that higher level before you have to be like, all right, I need to cut myself off. I need to dial it back because, you know, things aren't happening for me in the way they need to be happening, so on and so forth. Me personally, I'm a glutton for punishment. I enter the same tournaments every goddamn week, and I don't care if I've lost every single week of the season, entering the same tournaments every week. But I put money throughout the course of the year aside for that exact reason because I know what the hell I'm doing. I'm going to these tournaments. But I think it's important to understand, all right, you make $100,000 over the course of the year, just throwing a round number out there. Am I allocating 5%, 10%? You know, so am I allocating $10,000, $5,000, $1,000 over the course of this, you know, 3-month span that we have to play this game to this and what it is that I'm going to do?
Well, you can look at it 2 ways. So here's how I manage a bankroll, right? So I'm with you, basically in tournament selection. So I have 5 to 6 tournaments I enter every week. I know that there's going to be $400 a week that I'm willing to lose. Period. $400 to $500 a week. If it's gone, it's gone. Simple as that. But if you're going to sit with a structured bankroll, let's say, Dale, you come into the season, I got $1,000 to spend on DFS this year. Each week, I would allocate maybe 10 to 20% of that. And there's always this 80-20 rule. Like 80% should go to cash games, 20% to tournaments. Tournaments are higher variance, blah, 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 blah. Well,
fuck that.
Over the years, cash games have become so efficient where even cash games aren't worth it to even try to double up or triple up because everyone's using generators. Everyone's got so many different websites they have used to. So the optimal cash game lineups are going to be repeated over and over and over and over again. So I would say if you got $1,000 to spend, if you got $100 to spend on the year per se, I would put $10 in a week. If you win, great. It just increased your bankroll. You're still going to allocate 10%. So now if you win 1 week, your bankroll's $110. If you happen to win $20 that week. Next week, you're putting in technically $12. Then the following week, if you lose or win, that allocation of percentages does not change until you feel that you're getting to the point where your bankroll is so low. Then at that point, you would have to change your process. Because if you're losing consecutively, that means there's something wrong with the process. And remember, it only takes one or two big weeks in the season to make your entire season. It only takes one. And as tournament players, that's what we're striving for anyway. You know, we want 1 to 2 1% outcomes in the year. That's it. So that's all we're looking for.
That's all we need.
Yeah, right. So Chill, what is your theory on bankroll? Like, how do you manage your bankroll?
Mine is more or less kind of based on how I feel about the slate that week. If I'm not really confident in the slate, or if I don't think I have a good read on the slate, my bankroll is going to be a little bit lower. If I think the slate's good and I got, you know, some really good feelings about some players and I'm feeling really good, I'm gonna increase that bankroll. And I'll kind of just live, you know, with the result of either or. I mean, I've had weeks where I didn't feel really good about the slate and, you know, I hit And then I've had weeks where I'm like, man, I'm gonna smash this slate, and I'm texting you at 4 p.m. saying like, we're on the afternoon only, buddy.
Yeah,
or heaven forbid, like the guy you think's gonna do great gets hurt, and he's in all your lineups, so you're just like,
fuck,
ow. And especially for somebody like me, who's like an early only and an afternoon only type of player, like if that one guy gets hurt, it hurts. Like on the main slate, you can kind of make up for it, but like when you're on the afternoon or early only, if that guy gets hurt, you're probably not in the top 10.
So I was asked the question, what's the difference between cash games and tournaments? So cash games are games in the lobby that have a flat payout for, it's probably like 45% of the field get paid the exact same if you finish in that top 45th percentile. I only say 40 because DraftKings, FanDuel, Yahoo, whatever site you're using, they're going to get theirs. They're taking rake. So it's normally the top 45% get paid the exact same amount. So if you're looking at double ups, triple ups, there are 50-50 games that you see in the lobby, those are cash games. So it doesn't matter if you finish first or right at the cut line, everyone's getting paid the exact same. Tournaments are where they pay out probably the top 33%, and all the prize money, like the big prizes, are in the top 1%. So those are tournaments. So again, that's where you need your lineups to be differentiated from the other lineups that are in said tournament. Cash games, you can dupe. It doesn't matter. You don't need the greatest outcome. You just need to make a cut line. Tournaments, you want to shoot for the 1 or 2% finish to finish, like I said, top 5, top 10 to get, like I said, your bankroll up. That's considered a win. If you ain't first, you last. And that really is only applicable to like the Millionaire Maker, because I would be tilted if I finished second or third in Millie Maker. Tilted.
I was so happy that the lineup that I had with Gardner Minshew, I did not enter in the Millie Maker because it would have came in third. Now, don't get it twisted. It still would have been a nice payday. But just looking at it, been like third in the Millie Maker. Are you fucking kidding me?
It's like 100K, right? Something like that.
50K
compared to $1 million.
Oh, I would have been. I would like.
That's exactly why.
Considering you were with me that day, Sully, like I would have been happy, but at the same time, I would have been like it would have hit at some point in time. Like, hold on, the fuck just happened?
Oh, dude, I would have been. Yo, speaking of that term, that's another term we can go ahead and define. What is tilt? Anybody want to jump in and define tilt?
Me.
Sounds like Baker wants to define tilt.
It's me on Sundays. Lord Jesus.
I think it's a lot of us on Sundays, dude.
I mean, I was on tilt at the poker table earlier today, and I get on tilt when it comes to DFS too.
Well, I will.
Go ahead. His life on tilt.
It is just a outcome that, not even a bad outcome all the time, but things just not breaking a certain way that is going to absolutely piss you the fuck off.
Well, as defined by 4for4, which I am a loyal subscriber to, not sponsored, by the way, but, anybody listening at 4for4, you go ahead.
I feel like that would be like the hashtag of this show. Hashtag not sponsored.
Hashtag it is. Not sponsored. Tilt is defined as poor lineup or bankroll decision-making, typically caused by frustration and sometimes exacerbated by alcohol.
So, Baker, this is Baker. And I feel like there has to be like favorite team bias in it too, in their definition, because anytime someone's building the lineup with the Minnesota Vikings over there with alcohol, bias.
Well, I mean, bias plays into a lot of decision making, because like a lot of us have been burned by particular players, and we're like, we have to get out of our head. It's like there's certain players that I'm never going to ever play again.
Listen, you and I have been burnt by a lot of players, but you and I still go back to the well.
That's right, Derek Carr. I still love you. That's right, Miles Sanders. I still love you.
I still remember that 1 week Henry Ruggs hit against the Chiefs.
Yeah! Then I remember that 1 week Henry Ruggs hit another person.
He hit a car. He hit a car.
Sorry. I think I just got canceled.
He got sentenced for that.
Yeah, he did. But yeah, I mean, speaking, Can we have story time? Can we have story time?
Oh,
Baker,
story time with who? Story time with who?
Baker, what is your biggest tilt moment in DFS?
I feel like you know the answer to this before I do.
All right, Chili, are you okay?
God is ready for this story.
Exactly. God was here about tilt.
Damn.
I mean, the window's right there. I can't help it.
Even God wants to hear about your tilt moment.
I mean, I'm certain I've been tilted multiple times in DFS. I can't think of anything specific that sticks out at this moment, though.
I got a tilt. It was on my first big cash too. So it was the week I played Mitch Trubisky at home against the Buccaneers.
I remember that week.
And so I ended up winning $2,000 that week because I finished second. I think first place was 3,500 or 4K. If the Houston Texans and the Colts game doesn't go into overtime, I win. I win. And then, not to mention, I forgot, there was a boneheaded play call. I don't know if it was the Colts or who it was, and that was just another tilting moment. But if that game doesn't go into overtime, I win an extra $2,000 by like 12 points.
Ouch.
Okay, I think it was 2 seasons ago, not last season, but the season before. I was sitting in second, and I had Miles Sanders in the late window, and all I needed Miles Sanders to do was to get 3 points. His first carry went for 16 yards, and he rolled his ankle and checked out of the game. I lost my tournament and finished in second place by 1.5 points. If he doesn't get hurt on the first play of the game, $15,000. That's one. I don't even need to talk about how many times Aaron Jones has tilted me. So I'm gonna leave that one alone. And then Baker, you remember all those years ago.
Oh Lord.
When I had the Millionaire Maker lineup, announced the Millionaire Maker lineup.
Yes, you did.
Didn't play it. That was Mitch Trubisky, double stacked with Allen Robinson and that one little short dude, that little speedy dude.
Tariq Cohen?
Run back. Huh?
Tariq Cohen?
No, not Tariq Cohen, not the running back. Another wide receiver.
You're asking me to remember Bears wide receivers.
Yeah, something with a G. I don't remember. And I had that dude from Houston, their little slot receiver at $3,000.
Kiki QT.
Yeah, Kiki QT. I had the nuts at running back. I had the nuts at defense. And I didn't play the lineup. Didn't play it. I played a version of that on FanDuel, but I didn't double stack it. I only single stacked them, which is why I will never not double stack anymore. I won I think $2,000 that week or something like that, but that was literally the nut lineup. Like I should have been a millionaire maker, or should have been a millionaire now, all those years ago. Tilted.
I mean,
it wasn't like a Marquise Goodwin, was it?
No. I gotta look back and remember his name, but man,
I can picture him. I just can't think of his name.
I can picture him too. He was a tiny little dude, but he scored twice that game.
Yes, he did.
Yep. And I mean, Mr. Trubisky went off.
Yeah,
off.
6 touchdowns.
Yeah, six. I played
Was that the same week?
Yes.
Against the Bucks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all talking about the same week.
Yeah, we're talking about the same week. We had it. Had it. On tilt.
Gross.
Tilt. Which, I mean, it brings us another term that we need to go ahead and bring up. Correlation when it comes to building lineups. Correlation. So, Baker, how do you normally correlate your lineups?
I normally correlate my lineups with whatever I choose to wear to watch football that day. So if I'm going to wear, purple like I am right now, I tend to go leaning towards the Vikings. That tends to be how it goes for me. I'm going to correlate my teams with my outfits on a given day. That's what I do.
I hate you because you're lying. So please, for the people listening, what is proper lineup correlation, not outfit and lineup correlation?
Oh, by the way, it was Taylor Gabriel.
Thank you.
There it is.
Thank you. Taylor Gabriel.
There it is.
Oh, my God.
Yes. All right. So if
Back
I'm not...
when Trey Burton was the thing?
Bruh, Trey Boo Boo.
Oh my God, he was so bad.
You remember Trey Boo Boo?
You and D were fucking screaming Trey Boo Boo.
We were.
One off season.
We were.
Ridiculous.
Yep. That was me and Dejan. Yep.
But if I'm going to correlate my lineup and not my outfits, I'm looking for how do I maximize my quarterback, or how do I maximize a game? How do I maximize my lineup in any given situation? An example being a Gardner Minshew versus the Cowboys, playing him with a Devonta Smith. Maybe because of the fact that Gardner has some leg equity, you might not have to double stack him. But if you chose to, you could play an Arthur Juan with especially the immobile quarterbacks. Putting that second person with them to put the cap all the way up here. Case in point, Tom Brady, Mike Evans, and Chris Godwin when they went against Carolina, and Lord Jesus, did they go the hell off?
Yeah, you want to maximize your ceiling. Your ceiling is what you're looking for.
Yes. But also, like, you can correlate without the quarterback, without the core, you can correlate in other small ways. If you feel like one team's going to blow out another team, playing a receiver from the team that you think might get blown out with the running back from a team that you think is going to blow them out. That way you're getting, your equity from, they're just going to run the ball. They're just going to throw the ball. That type of correlation, and then you still want to try to match whatever teams with your outfits too.
So that would be like what we like to call a secondary stack, correct?
Or a little skinny.
Little slim, little skinny stack. Yeah. Good point.
I'm saying keep it a little slim thick.
Yeah, a little slim thick. Chill. How do you normally correlate your lineups when you're building out on Sundays?
I mean, traditionally, you're gonna have your stack, which is quarterback with a wide receiver, quarterback with a tight end. Traditionally, in that scenario, you'll have a bring back, which is you're bringing back an opposing player off of the team your stack is facing. So you could have that option as well. I'm still kind of relatively new to double stacking. I kind of started doing that last year. I wasn't a really big fan of it.
So you've never had a BK double stack?
No.
What is wrong with you? Why have you never had a BK double stack?
Is it BK double stack or is it a Wendy's double stack?
I thought it was a BK double stack.
Wendy's does the double stack.
You don't even eat meat. I'm not listening to you.
Get out.
First of all,
we're not sponsored by any of them, all right?
You don't even eat meat. I'm not listening to the guy who doesn't eat meat, all right?
It's the restaurant with the pigtail girl that has the double stack. It is not the guy with the crown on his head.
I'm sorry. So you've never had a Wendy's double stack. You happy?
Nah.
I'm going to bleep that out. No free plugs. No free plugs
here.
Hashtag not sponsored.
To go, I mean, I'm a baconator kind of guy, but we don't need to get into that right now.
What restaurant's that from?
All right, so on.
Pigtails.
We move on. So I'm still kind of relatively new to double stacking. I mean, I don't really have it with me, but in my notebook that I was keeping track of last year, I just kept track of people's percentages of what won, what didn't. I think last year was I don't know if it was last year or the year before. It was kind of weird where a lot of these lineups that were taking down these higher field GPPs, most of the time had no correlation. And those are kind of anomalies,
Yeah. So, those are, I don't count those.
Yeah. And that's totally fair. Again, so, I mean, I think I'm more equipped this year to start double stacking more. I think that's going to be more of a thing for me. Your stack could also be a team's running back and their defense. You could do the full onslaught if you would like, where you're just stacking, one entire team against the team.
Yeah, I think the beatdown scenario.
Yeah, I mean, I think week one, I think there's one eligible candidate for that.
Minnesota.
It is not Minnesota.
Damn right, it's not Minnesota. Damn right.
It would be the Ravens against the Texans.
Oh, no, there's a run back in that game. There's definitely a run back in that game.
Maybe. But,
we'll talk that when we get to week one, but there's a run back in that game.
But so on. You could do that. You could do full onslaught. You could do a game stack. I mean, I don't really do game stacks. I don't know if
unless
you guys
it's a short slate.
Unless if it is a short slate, if you're thinking like a Thanksgiving slate or anything like that. But
the
I
best
really
slate.
That was I'm sorry to cut you off, Chill. That was the other tilt moment from last year. The game stack, the freaking Bills game. Remember, I had that tournament won.
Oh, you did, bro. You had KJ Osborne.
Dawson Knox not to catch that last touchdown. That's all I needed. Ran away with that tournament.
And then he caught it.
And then I'm like literally at Whirly Ball. Like, please, they can score. Just not to Dawson Knox. Anybody but Dawson Knox. Touchdown. Dawson Knox.
We were texting back and forth. I think I may have beat you to the moment before you actually knew he caught it.
Bro.
I may have texted you saying like, I'm so sorry.
Bro, but again, that's the game. But the game stack I had was Vikings and Colts that day, right?
Yeah, that's when the Vikings came back.
Yeah, I onslaughted the freaking Vikings. I took every Viking I could.
And
Kirk Cousins, KJ Osborne.
Defense.
I did not use the Colts defense. The Colts defense would have won if even
the
minus
Colts defense
the
was optimal. Was the optimal?
Yeah, that was the nuts that day. But yeah, a game stack does work. I would use game stacks on short slates, like you said, like 3-game slates, your Thanksgiving Day slates, stuff like that. Where you take 4 or 5 players from the same exact game and then hope that game goes absolutely ham banana, and then get all your points from there. So I mean, multiple people went off in that particular game, and it does happen. I don't want to say every week, but if you get the right game, what was that one year, Baker, with it was Texans Seahawks, right?
Oh my God!
Where that game went absolutely berserk.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You needed everybody in that game. Like no one else on the slate mattered. It was that game. If you onslaughted that game, you won.
I remember that game.
Period.
That was a 4:00 game that it was like you had it just.
Yeah,
bro.
It was in Seattle too,
bro.
I remember. I watched that game. It was a great game.
How could you not watch that game? It was like 100 points total. I think it was more than that.
I mean, it was the last time Russell Wilson was actually relevant.
Damn.
I mean, he's not.
I get to sit on my high horse, all pun intended, when it comes to Russell Wilson now.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
I've been a Russell Wilson hater for a long time. I ate my crow. Now I'm dishing it out again.
Russ is cooking week 1.
And he forgot the recipe the rest of the season.
He's cooking week 1, bro.
I mean, like me and Sully said, that's our late swap week 1. Russell Wilson is our late swap.
He's cooking week 1.
Is it? What? I didn't agree to this. Did I agree to this?
You
hold up. Wait a minute.
You over here. You agreed to this.
Why would I late swap to Russell Wilson?
Because your shares of Justin Herbert and Tua Tagovailoa, those lineups are dead, so you can't play that chalk.
Bro, I'm switching to Jordan Love. What you talking about?
Hell no.
Yeah.
Switching to Jordan Love, son.
They play the Bears, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. I'm not doing that.
Oh, Russell Wilson goes against Vegas, doesn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, it's in Denver.
Oh yeah. I retract my statement.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go ahead and load up Russell Wilson.
I mean, speaking of late swapping, Sully, you want to segue into explaining to the viewer what the late swap is?
Listen, man.
Opportunities.
Statistically, and this has been proven, less than 10% of DFS players utilize the late swap. Okay, so if you have players in your late window that are still yet to go, and they are chalkier players, so a popular player is what defines chalk, okay? If your 1 o'clock players don't hit, or something happened, like they got hurt or whatever, and you have a quote-unquote dead lineup, you can resurrect that lineup by getting off your popular plays in the 4 o'clock window and getting on to less popular plays by utilizing the late swap. So sometimes it's a full-on stack that you have going. So as Baker alluded to earlier, my Justin Herbert shares in week 1. he's going to be a very popular option with his stacking partners and Keenan Allen and Big Mike with the run back of, Tyreek Hill or, anybody in that game. They're all going to be popular plays. However, if someone from your 1 o'clock window bust,
Baker Mayfield,
that lineup is dead. Okay, so you need to have normally your highest salaried player in that flex position so you can at least get off of that player, go down to another player, or if you left some salary, go up to another player. And last year, the classic, Devontae Adams was always like the late swaption. And that's another tilt moment. Chill, you and I were texting about it.
Yeah, we should have both swapped.
We should have went to Devontae Adams and we would have freaking
the week versus San Francisco.
Yeah, the San Francisco week. Yep,
went nuclear.
That's been 1% owned across every tournament.
Yep.
I had so much Christian McCaffrey that week. I'm mad at myself for not thinking of pairing Devontae Adams on the other side of him.
Crazy. So yes, utilize the late swap. If you're sitting there at 3:30, evaluate your lineups and see where they're at. If everything from 1 o'clock is going hunky-dory, it's all good, stay on the place. If something goes amiss, because remember, as tournament players, we're not looking to make cut lines. We're looking to win. So you have to embrace the variance and get onto those lower percentage players. Because listen, if you swap off a chalky player to somebody else that's severely lower owned and that player busts, your lineup was dead anyway. So
if the chalk hits, you're dead.
Your lineup is dead anyway. Exactly. Baker is exactly right. If you stay on the chalk with bust in your lineup, guess what? The 14 to 20 whatever percent that owns that player is coming along for the ride with you, and you've got duds in your lineup. But if you get the 1 to 2 to 3% owned player that goes berserk and no one else has them, it's your lineup that's unique that's going to skyrocket past those lineups. And not saying it could result in a win, but it could result in a dead lineup becoming a positive EV lineup for that week. So again, 3:30, 3:45, evaluate your lineups and make
it can lead to a sweat. That late swap it can lead to a sweat.
A good sweat. And there's nothing more thrilling in DFS. Baker,
sweat.
Chill, there's nothing more thrilling in DFS than a good sweat. Period.
The sweat is the fun, in my humble opinion, of DFS. The money is cool. Like even the takedown on Christmas Eve, it wasn't a sweat once we really realized what the fuck my lineup was.
Yeah, it was GG. You ran away with that one.
It's like Devonta Smith scored that second touchdown. And I was like, yeah, this is over.
That's over. Win. Yeah, it's a wrap. It's wraps.
You win.
It's wraps. It's wraps. It's
But
wraps.
having some sweats down the stretch of last year and the previous years as well, like that's the funnest part about DFS. And
absolutely,
the most notable swap that led to a sweat for me was you wearing over here. That man that you're wearing over here, resurrecting me at 4%, bringing me back from the dead.
Yeah, and you gotta be willing to take those risks. I mean, like DFS is all about risk, but they're calculated risk. We're not going in throwing in some bums. I mean, like this was getting off a chalkier player going to a good player. I mean, there's nothing wrong with getting on to a 4% owned Henry. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing wrong with that. So, but again, like you said, Baker, the most thrilling part about DFS is winning is cool. It's great. The money's cool. But that comes and goes. But like the experience and just that part of the day where, there's no other games going, but you got a player going. You're down by X whatever points. If this person does this, then blah blah blah. That's what we're here for, man. That's what it's all about.
Obviously, we're always watching the game separately for the most part, so it's sending text messages. I need this person to do this, and we're in the building.
Yep,
absolutely. I love getting those texts and sending them.
Absolutely. What was it? It was the two. Not last year. What was the text I sent out when I was like, I need Devin Singletary to score right now, and I think we can win this? 2 seconds later, bang, Devin Singletary scores. I'm like, boys, hold on a second. I think we got something, boys. That's the thrill of it, man. You'll never forget stuff like that. There's no doubt about that.
Absolutely not. By the way, I do have something that tilts me.
Okay.
Coming back full circle.
He's got a tilt story.
It's not even a story. It's not even a story.
Okay.
Chill mentioned the fact of lineups that aren't correlated, taking things down. I look at these lineups and it pisses me off every fucking week.
Oh, that in a nutshell tilts you.
That tilts me every fucking week.
Fair.
Because I just see one off. Quarterback, wide receiver, no run back, and I'm like,
somebody went into their preferred site, picked one player as a lock, hit generate, and entered it.
I bet you it was Zay Jones last year.
I mean, Zay Jones was responsible for taking down a lot of tournaments last year.
Like down the stretch, Zay Jones was going bananas.
Yeah,
he was.
Stupid.
As the one Baker says, popping in the optimals.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? My preferred site, as Sully is a 4-for-4 guy, I like to run my Sims. So running the Sims gives you the optimal plays for like the players that are popping in the most optimal lineups. Zay Jones and Cordell Patterson, week in and week out, just play them.
Cordell Patterson, right? Every freaking time. Every time, dude.
Just play them. I can't wait to run the Sims just so I can see what random player is going to be like, just play them.
All I know is that I already got the spiel down for, the discount code for 4-for-4. So, some Aaron, TJ Hernandez, if you want to, hit up your boy on Twitter or Instagram, it's at the DFS Deli.
X.
I got on X. That's right, on X. Yeah. Your boy. We have a YouTube channel as well. Check us out on YouTube, DFS Deli. More lineup generator. Shows coming. There's going to be a lot this year. We're going to have a lot of fun this year. Dale, any questions about anything that we went over today? Anything that you had in mind? Because again, you are representative of the common DFS player that we want to turn into better DFS players. So any questions that we could possibly answer for you?
Not questions. It's more of like how I kind of go through on my own stuff, even though I don't do the. Oh yeah,
that was an accident. My bad.
Lies, absolute lies.
It was more of just like like what I go through building my lineups, even though they're not like big dollar lineups or nothing like that. But I'll look at like the more you go through the season, like wide receiver versus corner matchups. How has this guy done against this guy before in the past? Like you never play Mike Evans versus Marshawn Lattimore.
Quarterbacks don't matter.
I don't pay attention to wide receiver corner matchups.
Neither do I.
Defensive line versus running backs.
I mean, in the terms of a running back matchup, I would like to play. Ideally, you want to play running backs that are favored at home.
Yep.
Ideally, you just play running backs against the Browns last year and the Texans. The Texans and the Browns last year.
Favored, and always play Derrick Henry against the Houston Texans.
And I think, honestly, when it comes to running back specifically, I think it depends on what site you play. You play over there with him, you're more touchdown dependent. Where, I'm saying, if you catch 5 passes or 5 to 10 passes, whatever, it doesn't have that big of an impact. You play with him,
and
us. I put it in lineups on both sites.
Okay, you play with him. Shit. I didn't want to point to myself.
I'm him.
Lord Jesus.
I might go down to one site again. I'm still TBD on that.
But yeah, you play with a guy like this where, 5 catches, that means that's the difference between like first and fourth, if it's a tight contest.
Without question. Site selection, yes, is a big deal because, again, DraftKings full PPR. FanDuel is only half point PPR. I think Yahoo is half point, right?
Never played it. Don't know.
I've never played DFS on Yahoo.
I played on Yahoo. I mean, hey, the money is still green.
Money. His Sully is there.
The money is still green, bro.
I heard it's really profitable and it's a little easier to make lineups on.
And there's a lot more overlay because it's a less popular DFS site. So You're dealing with a little more overlay over there too.
Well, you just gave away your secret, so
it's not a secret. I play on FanDuel primarily, only because I like
.com
where it is more touchdown dependent. But Yahoo is profitable because of the player base. I mean, there's just not more sharp people on Yahoo. There's just not a lot of sharp people on FanDuel. There's just not all the sharks are in DraftKings for the most part.
They're with me.
Baker, you're established that you're a smart DFS player. You know what I'm saying? So if you had the bankroll,
are you feeling okay,
Baker? I can't deny the bank account. All right, people lie, numbers don't. You know, like I trash you all the time for making ignorant ass decisions, but remember, it only takes 1 or 2 weeks. That's what we're shooting for. You know, like the people that want to play conservative, like, oh, I made the cut line or I did this, like, all that. Like, I don't care about all that. I'm a tournament player.
My cash lineup set.
If you're playing for the cut line, play cash.
Yeah, exactly. Well, anything else before we go ahead and close it up? I think it's been a very educational show. Again, this is probably one of the most important shows of the year, minus, Baker giving all the answers to the test when we start building lineups here in a few weeks. So,
I mean, the answer is going to be not to play Baker Mayfield. That's the answer.
Bro,
don't you dare fucking do it.
Bro. I'm going to tout Baker Mayfield so hard.
It all depends on what Chili's rules are.
I mean, we'll get to the daily doll hair when we need to, but I still got weeks to come up with.
Still got a couple weeks.
The most interesting thing about Chill, come week 1, is I can't wait to meet the fat chick. The first fat chick, I can't wait to meet her.
I mean, listen, if we're doing more of a recorded show and we're trying to be profitable here, or on YouTube here, I probably got to change that.
No.
Listen. We need.
No. The fat chick at the bar is like a DFS Deli branded product.
All right. Okay.
We're gonna get merch. We're gonna get merch.
I feel like that merch would actually sell. I feel like that merch would honestly sell, like fat chick at the bar.
Yeah, I just want like a bar setup that has like the deli thing in the background, right? And then it's like a fat chick sitting there, and then like Chili's got his hands like this.
Yeah, boy.
And then on the back of the fat chick shirt, it says like less than 1% owned.
Oh my god!
I'm just saying.
Her jersey number would just be 1%, and 1%. We would just need 32 shirts for all 32 teams.
Amazing. See,
who was
already got the
who
merch.
was it 2 years ago that Chili kept going? Oh, Mike Davis with the Falcons. The fat chick at the bar was Mike Davis.
Gross.
Yo, for years it was Henry Ruggs.
Even grosser.
Just play Henry Ruggs.
Ruggs.
AJ Brown was a fat chick at the bar the 1 week he went off.
Oh, considering they're like 0% fat on Arthur Juan.
He was still 1%
owned. Exactly. It's not about who the person filling the void is. It's, are you less than like 2% owned on that given contest?
Oh, it's just the fact that dude's just jacked. I just want to point out the fact that he's still like
that was the revenge game.
Oh, bro, go! We touted the hell out of that. You play AJ Brown. Period.
Shockingly, that week I was so off of him because I'm like, oh, he's gonna get talked up, and just he didn't.
Oh, that was the first person in every lineup that week. AJ Brown.
Yep.
The revenge narrative is real, Baker. You know this. You know this. Do we have any revenge scenarios week 1?
I would have to look at the slate.
Yeah, we gotta look that up. We could save that for obviously, the week 1 show, but there's got to be some revenge narrative.
I've barely looked at pricing still, and it's been out for a month.
Baker, did you know that the DFS Deli has a YouTube video based specifically on the first look at pricing? Did you know you can go to youtube.com right now, type in DFS Deli, and bring up that first look video from FanDuel and DraftKings? And while you're there, hit like and subscribe. You should totally do that.
You should.
So what's the website again?
It's youtube.com.
And there goes Dale.
That's fine. And he's like, class dismissed.
Oh, bye, Dale.
Right.
I have a feeling Dale's power went out or the internet went out.
Or both.
Oh, yeah, these thunderstorms ain't joking around.
Only one thing I might add is maybe more of an opinion. But I started trying last year, and it wasn't bad. I'm not saying it was great, but it wasn't bad. But it's playing like really good players, maybe not in ideal matchups. Take example the San Francisco Raiders game, right? Like Devontae Adams, with Jarrett Stidham at quarterback. Like it wasn't ideal, but like great players are still great players. Maybe not in ideal matchups, but that's something to take a look at as well.
Yeah, remember the time Jarrett Stidham broke the slate? Oh my God.
Remember that one time you wanted to play the entire New Orleans Saints lineup against the Niners and you didn't? I remember that Saturday. I think we were at your house. I don't know if you were just like talking on the computer or whatever. I just remember you were just like, I should play all these Saints. I should play Drew Brees. And then you didn't. And like the Saints came out and smacked them too, I think.
I vaguely remember that week.
Sully literally talked up the Saints and he's like, I can't do it.
I also remember the week I talked up Taysom Hill and he scored like 4 or 5 touchdowns that day. Like went absolutely berserk. That was amazing. But like that lineup was Taysom Hill and nothing else. I was so mad. I was like, oh my God, Taysom Hill's going off. And all of a sudden, yeah. Everyone else is like, good for you. Because I'm not participating in this. Well, guys, thunderstorms are rolling in. Apparently, one guy's not feeling his internet connection all too well. So I guess for weather reasons, we're going to go ahead and close up the shop. Guys, I appreciate you joining me this week. And the season approaches, man. We're almost there. We're almost there. Yeah, that's right, man. Don't forget to like, subscribe on the way out. Thanks for all the downloads on the last episode. It's really wholesome that more people care this year. It means a lot to me and everybody that helps with the show. And yeah, we wish you the best success with your yearly drafts, either this weekend in the case of me and Baker, and going into the biggest draft.
I'm about to own your ass again. I'm about to own your ass again.
Like I said, man, I don't draft for 4 freaking rounds. All right, I don't want to freaking hear it. If you don't own me,
you have the 101. I don't care.
The 101's already been picked. I'm off the board. I'm off the clock. Nate's on the clock.
I mean, it hasn't been submitted to me as the
You're
commissioner.
right.
Is not
You're right. You're right. All right, so I'm still on the clock technically.
And to be fair, I actually have the 101 on my team already.
Spoken like a true Vikings fan.
Spoken like a true Vikings fan.
You know, who's the 101 right now in fantasy football? Who's the consensus 101?
I mean, I think ideally right now it's Justin Jefferson.
And Sully, who the hell am I keeping on my team?
Justin Jefferson.
Thank you.
Although I have seen people draft CMC over Jay Jetta.
I mean, we've seen a lot of random stuff. We've seen Chase go over him. We've seen a lot. So
I mean, Sully's taking Bijan Robinson at 1, so there's that.
Don't get mad at me, dog. Bijan Robinson season.
I told you were taking Bijan like 3 weeks ago.
And it hasn't been officially submitted, so you'll find out on Saturday, now won't you?
Bro, I'm already in your head. I already know what you...
I mean, we're 2 halves of one whole idiot, so I get it.
Big fact. I
get it.
And this is why you're an idiot for playing Baker Mayfield. Anyway.
Bro, you. All right, I'm going to go ahead and close up the shop. Well, I'm going to yell at you as soon as we get off the air. Guys, I will see you all at the top. Thank you all for listening tonight, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace. Yell at you later, son. Baker Mayfield for president. Oh,
absolutely not. No,
just a hater, bro.